Okay, so in today's session, we're going to look at how to get ideas whilst doing research. So this is research on comparing a paper map compared to a GPS system for navigation. So we're going to look at this website, which is from NY Times, which stands for the New York Times. So we assume that you found the website, you've checked it, you think it's reliable, and now you've decided you want to take information from it. Okay, so the first time, just skim through to try and understand the organization of the passage. So when we skim through here, this is kind of just the introduction, talking about the writer and his wife, introduces navigation, so just a general introduction there. Okay, the second paragraph as well is just a bit more of a general introduction. There's not really much about advantages or disadvantages of paperless maps or GPS. Okay, the next paragraph, we've got her idea of an enjoyable drive doesn't involve messing with accordion folds and reading eye chart type. So this tells us one of the disadvantages of paper maps. While I yell out from behind the wheel, we just passed a sign. So maybe the idea here is that navigation is more challenging. Okay, so you may want to just highlight these and put them in a different document. Okay, so I'm just going to copy it using Control and C, and then I'm going to put this in a new document on my Google Drive. You can just use anything you want, so a Word document or pages on the app, on the Mac. So we've taken some information from here. It's also a good idea to write down the address of the website. The reason for that is later on you'll need to come back to the website for referencing, and you may need to find out more information to understand the context of your quotes. Okay, she prefers GPS. Okay, likes the ease of it. So this is one idea. So a GPS is easier to use than a paper map. Takes comfort in knowing we're on the best route. This tells us the GPS tells you you're on the best route. Okay, so great. We've got two ideas here for advantages of the GPS. Okay, now you may want to start thinking about how you're organizing it. So these two ideas are about the advantages of GPS. Maybe you want to just make that a heading to make it easier for yourself later on. This is basically about disadvantages of paper maps. You will find there's a lot of overlaps between the advantages of GPS and the disadvantages of paper maps. But that's okay, we can choose our ideas later on. Okay, so you've got a couple of ideas so far. Let's go back for a few more. Okay, something satisfying about watching the Blue Dot version inch closer destination. It's not really a main idea here. Okay. Here we got something about, for the rush hour commuter, you know about traffic up ahead, so I think this is a really key advantage of a GPS system. Obviously this is an advantage of the GPS which connects the internet, so we need to be consistent in our ideas. Okay, but I would argue. So here we've got basically what his wife likes, and then he's admitted that there are some advantages to the GPS, but this tells us there's going to be a change. So now most likely it's going to go on to the advantages of paper maps. Let's have a look. A road trip is a less experience with GPS. Okay, so the main idea is lesser experience. I'm not clear what this idea is at the moment. Perhaps it needs a bit more context before I understand that. Okay, so here, choosing the single most efficient route to your desired destination. Okay. GPS excludes other routes and destinations you might not realize you desire to see and removes serendipity. Okay, so this is one idea for the advantage of paper maps. So basically, when people just key in where they want to go on their GPS, it just takes them the quickest way possible. Whereas if they looked at the paper map, they may perhaps see destinations and places they want to go to on the way. So we're going to copy that into our document. Okay, and now this is the advantages of paper maps. Okay, cool. So you've got starting to build up the other side as well for our discussion. Okay, let's go back and get more. Okay, consider this. So there's a new idea here. Using printed maps require travellers to work together. You become a team driver and navigator. Your ability to get along and solve problems is tested in valuable, revealing ways. So it's kind of like a personal challenge, but with somebody else as well. So using a map becomes a challenge. And okay, so this is quite a nice point. Something I've not thought about before. Let's just pop that down. Okay, there's a bit more of explanation. Okay, it talks about it's passive following a GPS. I think really the key thing here, this is the really key thing I think. So when you're doing a paper map, you really need to notice your surroundings. Okay, that you see road signs, you look where the roads are going. So you have to be in the moment. You can't just drift off into thinking about the past or the future or any problems you've got. And then because you're more engaged, you're observing more, you're more active, then you remember the kinds of places you've been and you remember it much better. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down as well. Okay, so it builds up quite a few ideas here. Okay, this is another idea, all about returning home. I can unfold my maps and take myself back to a town. Yes, I understand what he's saying. For me personally, I've never done this with a road map. I don't know many people that do, and I don't think this is a very strong point, so I'm not going to include that in my essay at the moment. I may find that I read more and more sources and find this coming up again and again, and maybe I'll change my mind. Okay, and the same reason for here, the idea about before you go on your trip, you look at the map, you plan it, you get excited before your trip. Yes, it's true. Is it the strongest point? I'm not convinced. Okay, so at the moment, I will keep that in my mind, but I'm not going to write it down on the paper. Okay, just scanning through to see if there's many more main ideas. And basically, when I look here, talks about testing himself in a foreign country. This is basically just more details about what he's already said. Okay, GPS may eliminate a big source of travel stress, getting lost, but it also removes some of the thrill and personal challenge. So there's two ideas here. One, GPS eliminates stress, so that's an advantage of GPS. So that's a great point. Let's get that down. And this is something I can definitely relate to. Advantage of paper maps, advantage of GPS. Okay, so we're going to pop that idea up here. Okay, and then the other point, it removes the thrill and challenge. So this is disadvantage of GPS. Okay, let me just pop that into a heading. Okay. When I look here, we've got the main ideas here. Okay, so now we've got a document with disadvantage of paper maps, advantage of GPS, the disadvantage of GPS, and the advantages of paper maps. Okay, so let's just have a look at how we organize it. For me, I don't know, I always like to look at the advantages first. So in English, people always say advantage and disadvantage. I don't know if there's any logic to it. I guess if there's no advantages, you wouldn't do something in the first place. I'm going to keep it in this order because some of the disadvantages of paper maps will link into the advantages of GPS. Okay, so, and then advantage of paper maps, I'm just going to bring up. Oh, sorry, let me undo that. What did I do? Okay, I know what I'm doing now. There's a bit more on the next page, right? Okay, let me copy and paste all of that. Okay, and I'm going to pop that up here. Okay, another thing that's really important to do, we got information from this website, it seems quite useful. We need to know how to cite this in our writing. Okay, so I'm going to copy the website address. I'm going to, which one am I going to, I'm going to open a new thing. Oh, and I can go to a website called CiteFast. So this makes it, this is kind of simplifies doing the citations. If you want, you can do it manually. It's just a lot more effort. Okay, so we took it. Interesting. Did we take it from a web page or from a newspaper? Let's have a look. Okay, so let's look at the web page because online and electronic. Okay, we took it from a web page. We're going to do the autofill entry. We're going to search for this. So what CiteFast does for us, and so we set this for APA. So that's one system for doing referencing. Okay, so this is our current citation. If we want to use this in our references, we would need to use this. Okay, so we can actually select all of this. We copy it. And then we've got our references down here. Something a bit strange about the formatting here. But that one we can sort out later on. Oh, something now. Okay, and you may want to just remove the link. Okay, so it looks exactly the same, but it's just without the physical link there. For some reason, this seems to be over double spaced, so maybe if we, okay, so now it's back to single. And the other thing we need to know is how to do in-text citations. Okay, so let me just get rid of those. For in-text citations, we just click here. Interesting. Okay, the name is opinion using Maps vs GPS. I would actually disagree with this. Normally for in-text citations, you'd have the name of the writer and the year. So sometimes websites don't always work, which is where you need to use your brain and think for yourself. So we need the name of the writer. So this is the name of the writer, and we need the year. Okay, so Kurtz 2014. That's no problem. Kurtz 2014. And when we're citing from here, we'll need to put this into brackets. Okay, so that shows us the advantages and disadvantages of GPS and paper maps. So at the moment, it's not very organized. That is fine. Okay. After you've done reading, after you've looked at other sources of information as well, then you can choose your main ideas, find your support from all of the ideas that you've got, and you can start to organize your ideas at that stage. That is something you do later on. For now, we're just reading to pick out the main ideas. Obviously, when you're actually writing your essay, you need to put it in your own words and paraphrase it. So that's something that we'll look at in another video later on. Okay, so I'm just going to find out if I can stop the recording.